Okay, so this is a new song I've written, and I wanted to share with everybody. Hope to put it on Facebook, maybe get it to YouTube sometime. But I'll tell you about it right quick before I go into it. And it came from a dream that I had, and some of you have heard about it, where someone I knew, a loved one, had just fell down to this hole, and somebody very close to me, and I heard him scream all the way down, and woke up crying. And kind of between awake and asleep, God kind of spoke to me and said, because I was just so tore up. I woke up, pillow just wet, and God kind of spoke to me and said, "This is the emotion you're feeling right now. How sad you feel over this happening, over seeing this and hearing this. That's how I feel when someone goes to hell, when someone lost dies without Jesus." And it really spoke to me, and I felt like I really needed to share it. And so I shared the story, and several people said you need to write a song from that. And this is kind of where it came from. So if you think about in these later days, we see people a lot of times, sometimes family, sometimes people we work with, sometimes someone that you pass on the street every day, maybe holding a sign up. And some of these people you just assume, that they're Christians, and you hope that they are. Others, you may work with some people, or you may see people every day that you don't really work with, but you know who they are. And you look at their life and the way they live, and you think, oh, there's no hope for them. Why should I even bother with my time? They'll never listen to me, whatever the reasons. And we tell ourselves that sometimes, but we're not seeing them from God's eyes. And if we saw them from God's eyes, we would see how broken His heart is when every one of those dies and goes to hell. So I wrote this song called Cries. And basically, if you could be transported to the great white throne judgment, and if you saw one of these people that you know, whether a family member, an acquaintance, someone you see on the street every day, and they were being cast into hell, into the lake of fire, what if they looked at you and saw you standing around and said, well, how come you never told me? This was so important, why didn't you ever tell me? So that's basically what this song says. What if they called your name out when they are being cast away into eternity and said, why didn't you tell me? And what if you heard their cries, even after they had faded away, if you heard their cries echoing through your head for the rest of eternity, which God will wipe those tears away eventually from our eyes when that time comes, but what if you heard their cries? Is that what it would take, being transported that time, like John was in a vision almost? Would it take that to get you brokenhearted enough to want to witness to that person, to save them from that fate? So this is the song Cries, and y'all forgive me if I mess it up a little bit. Still kind of new, just getting some of the chords and everything down to it, so... One day the lost will stand before the very throne of God. And though they plead their case, He'll say, depart, I knew you not. Then as they're cast away, they see you there and wonder why you never cared enough to lead them to the Lord. What if you heard their cries? What if they called your name? Would it break your heart? Would you be ashamed? What will it take for you to reach out to the lost with the love of Christ? What if you heard their cries? See them every day and think that there's no hope at all. They'll never change, they're too far gone, just another lost cause. But God sees them the same way He saw you, and He knows they need Jesus too, if you would just show them the way. What if you heard their cries? What if they called your name? Would it break your heart? Would you be ashamed? What will it take for you to reach out to the lost with the love of Christ? What if you heard their cries? We ought to have such deep regret when one lost soul goes to hell. Just think about how God must feel. Then will we have the strength to tell? 'Cause I believe He cries, though they curse His name. Yes, it breaks His heart when they turn away. He's asking us if we will reach out to the lost with the love of Christ. Can you see Him cry? What will it take for you to reach out to the lost with the love of Christ? What if you heard their cries? What if you heard their cries?